Hey, everybody. Still got some
What's
coming.
up?
It's so good to see all of you. Jody, Lisa, Mariette, love your smile. Tristan, good to see your faces. I know some of you are at work right now or just in the listen mode. Shoot in the chat if you are just in listen mode, so at least we know. If not, let's see those beautiful faces. Um, we have brought you guys here today just to kind of lean in on each other, right? You've heard, my team's heard from me plenty. I'm sure Joel's team is tired of hearing him, right? No, I'm kidding. But Zach and Shane and CW, Chad himself, we're all going to team up together here and give you a few different voices. We've got a few different things to go over with you, kind of what we expect on the call, what the heck you're here for, all that good stuff. Okay. So we're going to be a little bit vulnerable and we're going to show you our personal leaderboards for our teams. Clarity is kindness, and we feel as if we show you where we're at and what we're doing and the goals we're shooting for. Maybe we can help you get to your goals and what you're shooting for. Again, you can kind of compare what's happening, how to do it, that type of thing. And again, to bring to you weekly, what each team is doing. Me personally, I know that my team is gonna, we're gonna beat all of these teams. We are a little bit behind, but we're gonna talk about how we can help the teams out, how we can help you guys out, really get some money in your pocket and just make this a little bit of okay. All right, let's go, guys. These are our personal leaderboards for July. Again, this is the Luck and Bill team, Rivera, Powell, Parks, and Carr. All right, let's go. So far, starting at the bottom, we've got Shane's team going for 6,412. Yours truly, 7,721. Joel in third for 9,565. Zach for a smooth 11,226, and Chad at number one, stealing the show for 18,935. And it doesn't look like his partner in crime could get on here at this time. Hopefully he will join us some weeks, but he's got a great business partner helping him out, and they are just rocking the house right now. So my team, listen up, listen to what they're doing. We are coming for those numbers next week. Okay, let's go. All right, what do we as leaders, what are we shooting for? What do you guys need to be shooting for? Okay, so total sales for each of our teams, we want to shoot for 20,000 or 20 apps a month. Okay, now again, each one of you are different. Some of you are part-time, some of you are full-time. Again, it depends on when you're working, what your schedule looks like, and what you want income-wise. Okay, so again, that kind of equates to 20,000. We want to shoot for issue paid. I know it says submitted, but again, we want to focus on the instant issue policies. Our close ratio is really good. So again, we're getting you paid a little bit quicker. All right. So again, as a team, 20 apps, 20,000, that's what we're shooting for. So we're at the end, we're going to ask you, what can you commit to? So just, think about that. At the end of the month, we want you guys to take home in your pocket at least 5,000. Okay, that's a minimum easy number for a month. And I think, even full time, that can start you out at a different level than you're possibly at now. Okay, so we're going to break it down a little bit and tell you again why it's important to lean on us, how you can possibly do that, and how we can help you. Okay. All right, up next, we've got CW in the house.
Hello, guys. CW. Just wanted to give you guys a quick overview on how will you contribute to your team. Really, the best way to coach anyone is by activity. So the best thing you can do just for yourself and your business, as well as being able to get help, is to make sure that you're doing the massive action, constant correction, right? So massive action, we'll talk about that real quick right now. So that means you're either investing in leads or you're doing warm market. You're putting together your client qualification.
Okay, just let me turn my camera. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Okay, no problem. Yeah, you're just putting together your client qualification forms, your activity sheets. You're putting that together. You're working with your mentor each week. You're doing the dials, so it's 300 dials plus a week. You're making sure you're setting enough appointments. So we recommend, at least 10 to 15 appointments a week, depending on if you're part-time or full-time. So really it's about doing the activity, setting the appointments, sitting on the appointments, getting the applications in, working with your upline to help you to push through the application so that you get paid. So in order to really contribute to the team and the team goals, you're going to have to hit your own personal goals. If it's 5,000 APV a week, then you need to make sure that you have worked with your upline to figure out how much resources you're going to need, how many leads or the people you need to contact if you're warm market, and your goals setting for how many people you need to sit in front of each week. As you're doing this each week, you'll get consistent. And that's what I had to do with me and John, and and a few others that have been working on my team. They're up and coming as well. I have some great up and coming agents. John right now is one of my top agents, and that's what he does. Every Sunday we sit down, we strategize, we try to figure out do we have enough resources? What's our focus? What's our goals? And how well are we tracking to our issue paid? So we make sure we get paid by the end of the month. So all those different things are very important, not only just your personal production and your work ethic, but also that you're communicating up and across. And that's really the key to this business. The key to really contribution is being there, not only just for yourself, but for others. So the third I was going to say is, of course, anyone that's within your base shop, keep an eye out for them too. See who's struggling, see who's doing well. Keep your eyes out and keep working with each other as well. You learn something by helping someone, and you also learn something by getting help as well. Humility is a real big key to this business. I'm still getting advice from all four of these wonderful folks you see above us. Amber, Shane, Joel, and Zach. They have helped me with my business and really helped me to have the mental clarity and some of the focus that I needed to be able to have that big month last month. And so you need people, and you also need activity. And that's what I'll just end with. Any questions? Okay.
Love it, CW. Love it, man.
Yeah, I'll turn this back on.
I just want to throw it out there real quick. What's your best week so far, Chad?
My best week so far.
Yeah.
Since getting back into it, it was I had a $10,000 week about 2 weeks ago. About $9,000 a week following that after that. So yeah.
How many of you guys
Crushing it.
right? How many of you guys want that sort of vibe and performance to rub off on you? Put a 1 in the chat.
Me. I'm
Right.
like all hands and like a foot and the third hand, the third leg, whatever.
Right. So that's what I want y'all to be mindful of as we're talking here, guys, and as you guys hear from each of us. Be mindful that we're all here to help you. Sometimes you're going to relate with a different voice in a different way. Just write down notes. We'll give you guys all of our phone numbers by the end of this. We're here to build as a team. We're here to grow as a team and get better as a team. Right?
Yep.
So if anything, shout out to Chad. Much love.
And yeah, and then one of my agents that just came on is Steven. He's up and coming. He's doing the dialing. He's doing the work. He's getting started. He's doing a great job. But he's going to be a rock star as well. But again, he's constantly getting correction. He's constantly getting better and better. He's going to be a fantastic agent here. So I'm looking forward to him just achieving his goals and hitting up the leaderboards as well. So, but that's what it takes. It takes people to be jumping on the calls, making sure you stay connected, just like you're doing right now, guys. So each and every one of you guys are going to be rock stars, because I could tell You guys are committed. You even committed to this call today. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of want to kind of underline what you said there towards the end, Chad, about just the whole reason why we're all meeting as a team. Anybody direct to me, I hope that you're not sick of me yet. I know Amber kind of joked around about it earlier, but we've all kind of identified that we all have different strengths and, places where we can improve on. And so we've, kind of identified that we all can kind of help each other and leveraging each other on where we're lacking while we're working on those aspects of ourselves. So in the meantime, we want to make sure that all of you guys have everything you need and have a different perspective from a few different voices so that, ultimately, we can all protect more families, make more money, and get to where we want to go. I know, I can't speak for everybody on the call, but I know I've had some pretty intimate conversations with some of you on my base shop, and I know that you guys are chasing big goals and have big plans and everything. And, we want that for you guys, just as much as, we all want it for ourselves too. So that's the beauty of this business is we can all help each other. But, the biggest thing when it comes down to like chasing something is like it says on the slide, is having the clarity of where you want to go, and why you want to get there. So, it's one thing saying, hey, I want to submit 5,000 this week. That's very like surface level and it's very vague. And when your goal is that, vague, then it's kind of hard to achieve it because you don't necessarily know what it takes to get there. Just like Chad was saying, is like you need to not only just have a clear goal, but also track your activities so that you know exactly what it takes to get there. So that's what ultimately the goal is of this call, is so that you all can be equipped to be able to set a clear goal for yourself on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis so that you know exactly what it takes and you have it in your head of why you want to do it. So that I mean, we're all the same here. There's nobody special out there that's like a, secret magic dialer that doesn't get objections or, whatever. We've all had those dial sessions where you get a ton of objections or, a ton of pushback over and over and over. But that's the reason why so many people bring up like having a strong why, and the importance of that is so that when you have those dial sessions or even those days or weeks, you can remind yourself of like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. This is my goal. We all know, some days it might only take 100 dials, maybe even 50 dials to book the amount of appointments that you need to hit that goal you're looking for. And sometimes it'll take 300. Um, but when the goal is the outcome, then it's fine. And in your head, okay, well, I just got to do whatever it takes. And so it's all about clarity and also, transparency, like what Joelle was saying, and Amber, like we all want to be totally just like all out honest, like everything's all out here. We're all sharing what's working, what's not working, so that we can all learn from each other so that that learning curve can be shortened and we can all get growing. And I know there's a lot of momentum. We've got conference going. I don't know if Johnny, you feel like making the announcement, but Johnny has something very exciting to share about conference. Um, Also, Lois, huge shout out to her. Got her conference ticket yesterday. Told her job to go kick rocks. So, like I said, I know a lot of people have like a lot of big goals going on and a lot of like, fun momentum, which kind of can be a little nerve-wracking, but also exciting. But it's like at the same time, okay, let's sit down, let's write it out. What do we need to do like on a daily basis to get there? And then remember, just like remind yourself, like, why are we doing this anyway? There's a lot of people that will say, I want to be the best life insurance agent in the world. I want to protect as many families as I can. Johnny, sorry, it might sound like I'm on repeat here. We were just talking about this the other day, but this business can be a catalyst for you. And so whatever your goal is, like this can get you to where you want to go. And we can all do this. And that's why we're doing this together, because I know that, for instance, the people in my base shop here, like I know that I am doing my best, but just like anyone else, we're all growing. And we have room for improvement. And so that's why we're all here. We just want to make sure that we're all growing together. So,
True.
clarity.
And also, is Johnny gonna be one of the singers? Is that what you were kind of insinuating?
I couldn't unmute. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you. Did
Drum
you get the part?
roll, please. Drum roll. Please.
Yeah, so they did briefly they didn't read out the names, I don't think, but they did show on the national call I am officially, yes, one of the karaoke contestants at the Mile High Mic Drop this year.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you very much.
Oh, bro, we all gotta go just to hype Johnny on. Let's
Yeah,
go,
so
bro.
if you don't have your conference ticket, get it, because you do not want to miss that.
I was bummed. I sent in an audition tape. I wasn't picked, but that's okay. It's probably gonna save everybody's ears. No, but for everybody who doesn't know me, my name's Shane Parks. I'm actually fairly new to this group, to Symmetry, but honestly, truly honored to even be able to hang out and lock arms with Amber and Joelle and Zach and Chad. But the part that I really wanted to bring in with everybody, and why this call I think could probably be one of the most powerful that we all attend every week, is it's very easy for us to be able to go sit on the national call and see these very big, large numbers. We see Dylan Crane's name flashed every week, right? We see all these incredible leaders from RADs to managing partners, equity partners, and we get to see that real big picture. But then we get to come, today, we get to bring it back down to the macro, right? Or to the micro. So we can see that big picture, but ultimately, we want to lock arms with those that are really doing the same things that we're doing every day and trying to break through these same learning curves, right? And this is the power of association, and really the message that I want to try and drive home today is why locking arms with these four people is really the reason why I get to still be here, right? Joel, he's had the opportunity to be here a year and a half. I only got here in April, right? Now I have big goals. I established that I wanted to be an agency owner from the day that I got here, right? Why would I be here and not want to go sign my own agency owner contract, right? Just didn't make sense to me. And so I started operating like a full-time agent from day one. But the only way that I realized I could even dive into that is by going and locking arms with people who were already doing it and acting like full-time agents, because they were, right? Even in those times where you might feel like, man, what can I contribute? I just got here. But we all have different skills, right? We all have a background that we get to bring into this. And the fun part is we have people who've walked those steps before us. And our job is, how do we take all that information, reprocess it with who we are, with our style, with our tonality, and plus the experiences that we bring, right? The unique part about all of us is we have our own story. And when we get into our smallest team environment, which this is what it is, right? When we look at from Marshall Whalen down to Larry and Sean and Dave and Courtney and like this is the team. This is the ground level where we're trying to bring everybody up, right? And we hope that we've got our future agency owners sitting on this call ready to share your guys' goals with us, right? One thing that we wanted when we were talking about kind of combining this team is, number one, it's not about us and our growth. It's about all of us and our growth, right? Like we only win together, and we only win by bringing everybody up along with us. So how do you win fast, right? How do you jump in and get yourself into a spot where I want to learn quickly? And it goes back to what CW was talking about. How do you jump into that massive action when, it's something that, we're virtual, right? So ultimately we end up in our little spaces and it's quiet. Nobody's watching us because we're not on the call. We don't have our camera on. And I got to pick this thing up and I got to call this guy Larry because he submitted a mortgage protection. And it's really easy to go, I'll do that in 10 minutes. I'll give him a call. I'll start in 10 more minutes. And then, oh, my dogs need to go out, right? Oh, this needs to happen. And I caught myself doing that. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this 100% alone. Maybe I need to just be in a space where I see other people doing it, and that will trick my mind into being disciplined enough to just, damn it, I need to do it. I said I was going to do this. So I just need to just pick up the phone and do the damn thing, right? Anybody put a 10 in the chat if you ever reached that point where you're like, I need to stop and just do the damn thing. There it is, right? We have those moments. And there's times where, and this is what gets really hard with our psychology, right? Is when we hit those really tough moments where we know the way out of those hard moments is action, but yet our psyche will put us into inaction because it feels safer than doing it, right? Anybody feel like that? Just says I'm ADHD, I get those moments a lot, right? I do too. I think I had that adult onset ADHD. That's why I have like 37 tabs open at one time, and I feel like I thrive in chaos, right? It's all just lies that I tell myself. That's our own self-sabotage, right? And it's even almost like allowing it to say, "Oh, I have that, so therefore," we almost have to go, "Nope." At some point, and this is something that I took from Jim Larson that I absolutely loved a lot, and I've taken it to heart lately, is do we want to be a person of integrity or a person of compromise, right? And he put it as an engineering quote, where would you drive over a bridge that's compromised, or do you want to drive over a bridge that's built with integrity, right? Because if you're compromised, you'll collapse. And at some point, we have to stop compromising with ourselves and say, you know what? I do have goals. I'm here for a reason, right? I know my bills don't care about my feelings. My bills don't care if I'm nervous. They don't care if I'm worried somebody's going to curse me out. And it's not worried if somebody's going to no-show, right? But ultimately, and this is the last part that I'll kind of give everybody, if you're in that spot where I'm trying to get started, I'm just not sure what that next step is. The next step is the next step, and you don't earn the right to learn the next step until you take the first step. But when you take it, it's like unlocking the right to learn the next step. You're not going to know how to book appointments until you make enough calls. And then you're not going to know how to tie it down until you have enough no-shows that it hurts you, right? And then you're not going to have enough apps until you run enough appointments and you hear those objections. And so you have to give yourself, through that massive action, the right to learn that next step. But anybody want to add anything into that? Zach, Amser, Joel, CW?
Yeah, totally. So I want y'all to be mindful, guys. First of all, I just want y'all to realize every single one of us is here right now because somebody said, hey, I think you could do this. Let that sink in. Somebody at one point said, I like you. I think you could do great in this industry. Some of y'all sometimes sell yourselves short before you even start sometimes. I want y'all to be mindful that every single voice that you guys are hearing today started at the same exact spot. Every single voice that you guys are hearing at one point struggled to get an appointment. Real talk. And feel free to unmute and throw an amen from
Still
the
do.
voices that were here.
Still
Amen.
do.
Amen, brother. Yes.
I need you guys to be mindful. Nobody's perfect. Hey, real talk. Some of you guys are going to be a million times better at coaching than any of us. Real talk. There's probably somebody in this room right now that's going to make Chad's 10,000 look like nothing. Think about it. Matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you want that to be you. I want to see how many ambitious people we got in here. Making a $10,000 week looking like nothing. Over 9,000. I see a DBZ quote. Okay. So I want y'all to be mindful, guys. In this industry, in life in general, I need you guys to understand that challenges will happen. I want you guys to understand that challenges in this industry are normal. Kind of like what Shane was just saying. You're going to start and you're going to be like, hey, first challenge, I want 100 dials. That's what I'm going to commit to, right? It's going to come a point where you're like, hey, 100 dials, I got that. I'm getting good. I can do that. And then it's going to be like, okay, next challenge, set 5 appointments in one day. It's like, okay, got you. You know what? We're going to hustle. We're going to set 5 appointments in one day. The moment you start doing that, then you're going to realize, well, dang, I thought I was good at selling. I might need a few more appointments on. I'm kind of struggling out here. I just talked to 5 people and they all told me kick rocks. I want y'all to realize it's a journey, but I promise every single one of you, there is somebody on this call right now that struggles with something that you mastered last week.
Well, and also too, I'll say this, I'll just give myself as an example. The best advantage that I'm giving myself is I'm taking the time because I'm only 3 months in. So I've only been building a team for a few months, right? I have the opportunity that I get to talk with Joel, who's been building a team for longer, a little over a year. Amber, same thing. Zach's been here 2 years. So just through questions, I get to look at and see what are the pitfalls I'm going to fall in, because I get to know them. I'll probably still stumble into a few of them myself, but just through association and being able to look at the wall and say, okay, how can I plug in so hard that I can plug in others in the same way, right? I came in with the full intention that I have a business to build. This isn't anything. Nobody's going to recognition is not a way to fill up your bank account, right? Ultimately, action, activity, and being able to do the job is what does. Well, from where I want to be to where I am, the only way to actually do that is through the action and taking the action, right? I have to get hung up on enough people. And so, who's heard of the term gamify? When you gamify your numbers, right? And this is a great way to kind of overcome and battles through some of that fear, is if you're tracking your numbers well, then you can put your learning curve out there. They said that in one of our national calls, that the learning curve to get through dialing is 3,000 dials. Okay, well then how fast can I accomplish 3,000 dials? You mean to tell me that if I make 3,000 dials, I'm going to be better at this whole dialing thing and it won't be quite so scary? Bet. How fast can I get through 3,000 dials? And now with Funnel, you can get through 3,000 pretty quick, pretty darn quick. Probably 3 weeks. You could do 1,000 dials a week easy, right? So you mean you can cut your learning curve from down to 3 weeks and get through 3,000 dials? Awesome. Now, is that going to do the same thing on presentations? No, right? I know it takes 106 presentations to be good and through your learning curve of presentations. Well, I'm only at 46, right? And this is where this call I think can be a lot more valuable. Who sits in the morning call and hears Sean talk about you need to have 10 sits a week, and that number just feels kind of like, whoa, that's a lot, right? Go ahead and put a 2 in the chat if that 10 sits a week just sounds really big right now, like you're just trying to get there. Because that's okay. I'll be honest, I have not had a 10 sit week. I'm still building my skill set there. I don't yet feel comfortable jumping on the phone and being able to book an appointment on demand, but I have good calls and I have bad calls, right? And the good ones, I get them. The bad ones, I write it down in a journal, right? I keep myself my should have said journal of all the things I should have said, because when you don't think of it in time, right? But it's in those things where it's just, I know that if I continue, as long as I don't quit, as long as I continue to pick up the phone, book another appointment, this one I'll tie down better. That one I'll tie down better. Oh, now we showed up. Wonderful. Now I got another presentation. Dang it, didn't close them. Why? Put it down, practice it, call up my buddies, right? Hey, Joel, we'd had a conversation right after it. Here's the situation. I didn't get, I made it a one-legged appointment. Okay, don't make that mistake again, right? And it's those little things, but it's in that my action leading up to it allows me to be in a space where now I can just tick another presentation off my learning curve. Okay, 47. I got 50 something to go, right? And it's that mentality, the gamifying it, knowing I'm that much closer. I'm that much closer to being good at this. And really, right, where does fulfillment truly come? You guys will find a full bank account will only make you so happy, right? But true fulfillment comes in that sense of growth, of getting better, of feeling like I'm building something, like the work that I'm doing matters, right? Who's come from a job where it felt like the work you did didn't matter? Didn't matter if the paycheck was coming, like if it didn't feel like fruitful work, sometimes that's kind of hard on the soul, right? We get to come in and protect families and make great money. Worth the effort, right? We get to feel like this is ours because we own it. So, all right, I'm getting long-winded there.
All right, real fast before Joel talks, I do have a couple points to make. I know Joel's like itching to talk. I apologize. A couple things real fast. You highlighted the fact of we're here to show you how and when we're failing, when we're falling, and what we're doing to pick ourselves up. Okay, the vulnerability and knowing that you are going to fall and just learning from other people's mistakes. We're going to do it before you. There's others that's done it before us. Please lean into that and learn from that. And then lastly, there was one other thing, but now I forgot. I was holding it in for so long. Yeah, that's it. All right, Joel, it's your turn.
You're chilling.
You'll
No,
find.
Oh, I remember now. Sarah Pappas always says, you're never going to be able to learn your craft until you've sat and presented to 100 people. So she has a piece of paper and 100 squares, write out 1 through 100. Every time you sit and present to a family, mark it off. When you're at 100, you're knowing what you're doing, you know where to turn, and you're going to be able to help your agents. That's all. That's all I got.
True. And I'd love to actually emphasize, guys, put a 1 in the chat if you got one person that you talk to about business related things. Whether it be, hey, this is how an appointment went. This is how I feel about today. I had a great day. I had a sucky day, whatever it may be. Put a 1 in the chat if you got someone like that. And I want everybody to look at this chat. I want you guys to also now, as these ones are going on, put a 2 in the chat if you got more than one person. Put a 3 in the chat if you got more than 3 people that you reach out to, you vibe with, You vent, you help. I see what you did there, Zach. We all do now. I see what you did there. So what I want you to realize, guys, this really is an industry where there is strength in numbers. The worst thing that you can do in this industry is try to do it alone. Any sales industry, any insurance related industry, anything like that. Some of y'all have been in sales jobs before. You get where I'm coming from. The last thing that you want to do is take this on alone. The last thing that you want to do is only rely on one person. And I know that sounds a little weird, but you guys got to be mindful the value and the power in having multiple people by your side. Like in our little group chat, everybody isn't always vibing, you know? Sometimes people have a rough day. You get what I'm saying? It is crucial, guys. Every time you feel like your head is barely above the water, it is essential that you got somebody that's just holding on the side of the beach with a little lifesaver, just ready to throw. It's like, just let me know when. He's like, I'm just waiting for your rant to be over. I could throw it. Let me know when you're done complaining. Like, guys, the amount of growth some of you guys are going to experience is going to be insane over the next year. The amount of difficulty that some of you might experience might also be crazy. Some of you guys have never read a book. It happens. That's okay. That definitely was me when I got here. When I got told to read a book, it's like, hey, man, I might give you 1 page a day. But I need y'all to realize in this industry, there's only one way that you literally, especially with the proven system that we got, there's one way that you're not going to be able to succeed here. And that's if you give up. And I'm a numbers guy. I keep it as real as possible. Like, by all means, guys, come to me if you need a little dose of reality and a little dose of truth. And if you're not afraid to get your feelings stepped on a little bit. Because kind of like what Shane was saying earlier, feelings are valid by all means, but your bills aren't going to wait for feelings. Every one of these voices that y'all have heard, know that I have zero damn problems kicking you in the rear end and be like, hey, I get you, valid. Let's get back to fucking work. You got bills to pay. We got goals to achieve. Right? And I want y'all to realize, as we take on this next year, these meetings are going to happen more regularly, but as we take on this next year, I need you guys to realize we are here to help. Whether you guys need a little bit of support, whether you guys need a little bit of challenge. Quite frankly, even if you guys just want to vent, sure, send a message. But believe me when I say, we are going to push each other across the finish line. We're not in this business to let people drown. I'll say that again. We are not in this business to let people drown. We're in this business to help people. And you guys got to realize it's going to start with each other.
And you're going to feel like you're drowning at some point. And if you're not feeling like you're drowning, then you're not trying. I will just add that. Like, there's parts of this business that are challenging. There are going to be those little things that come along where, you get an application denied and you don't know why, or somebody gets instant approved, but now they can't pay for the next 3 weeks, right? Those things happen. But that's where having people that have stepped before us and they have that experience, they'll kind of tell you like, yep, that's something to think about. But if you are planning ahead and you're filling up your pipeline ahead of time, then that becomes found money down the road. Then you kind of get reframed in your mind, right? I don't know if anybody's had the experience. You write your first app and you're expecting this commission, but then it's something different because you didn't know how to read the commission structure all the way. Like that's where come through, communicate. That as Chad was kind of saying, everything's there to mentor momentum. We can't mentor those that don't communicate also what's being needed, right? Can only reach out so much. And so, we want to swim to those that are swimming in as well. And that's exactly what we're doing. I have the benefit of being direct to Larry Griffin, and I get to talk to him every single day. And I know there's a lot of people who would love that same opportunity, but it's because I'm reaching out. It's because that momentum's there. But that is available for every single person here by choice. By choice, and by choosing to be in that workroom, by working, by going through the motions, by having challenges, by saying, hey, this happened to me and it sucked. Can you help? Because everybody who's been here for a while has been through those exact same things, and they will help, right? And that just makes it to where we don't have to choose to stay in that suck, right? We can get through that suck so much faster just by being open, being vulnerable, and saying, hey, I could use a hand here, right? But what we don't want, and this is just the last piece, what we don't want is, hey, I'm having troubles, but then you go to the look and it's like, well, you've only made 15 calls this week. You only bought 5 leads. Like, we can't help that, right? We can help if you got, 50 leads in, made 200 calls. Here's what I was running into. Perfect. There's enough there that let's jump into it. Let's role play a little bit. And we heard in the morning as Dylan Crane got done with his first week, he then role played, right, for hours on the same thing. So, all right.
All right, cool. So I just put it in the chat. We got 15 minutes for questions. Feel free to ask any of us anything, by all means. We'll keep it as real as possible. I definitely, for damn sure, going to keep it as real as possible. And any questions you guys got, any tips, advice, whatever it may be, whether it be on the selling, on building, on motivation, go for it. The floor is y'all's.
Matt put, how many leads should I get a week? It's a great question. All right, go.
About to say.
Go ahead.
About to say, I will go full numbers here. So Matt, the reality is, how hard are you willing to work, and how much money do you want to make? Because if you're just trying to make like $1,000 a week, okay, well, the average agent gets a 4x return on their investment. So as long as you spend about $250 a week, you should make $1,000 a week. You'll get your 4K a month if that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Top agents get closer to 10x return when it comes down to it. So the question is, where's your skill level? How hard are you willing to work? How much are you trying to make? We can usually always also sit down, do a little one-on-one, talk numbers, trying to figure out like a really good mix as far as to what would be best for you. Definitely very important that you have enough leads to call to stay busy at the same time, right? So you'd be surprised, man. Like I talk to some agents sometimes that who is it? Shout out to Jerome. Jerome isn't in any of these teams, but Jerome reached out to me at one point early on, and he was like, I'm trying to be like 40 grand a month. It's like, okay, bet. It's doable. Just understand the work ethic that's needed, understand the investment that's needed. But if you're a top producer, you get a 10x return. Is it worth investing 4,000 to make 40? You don't got to be great at math to know that math. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
And let's say you're not a top producer. Let's say you're just average. Okay, got you. So let's say I'm average, but I still want that kind of money. 4x return. Okay, so maybe we just sell a couple policies, start investing $2,500 a week, $10,000 a month, but we made $40,000 at the end. Would you spend 10 to make 40 and be 30 plus? Is that still good math?
Still good.
The question is, do you have the work ethic to follow it up?
It's all up to you.
I have a
All right.
question. Am I supposed to put it in the chat or can I just say
No,
that?
you could ask. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so my question, because I am doing this part-time, I'm sometimes not always the most flexible. So with regards to part-time, what advice would you give me for the best times to make calls? Because that's the part that I'm struggling with. I feel like maybe I know that obviously with the leads, you don't get every single person that's going to be interested in talking to you. That's fine. But when do you think it's a great time to make those calls?
CW, you unmuted. What do you have
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in on that. I was part-time for several years. So Lisa, great question. Really, it's about schedule, right? What do you work, 9 to 5 right now?
So so what I am doing, it's in sales, and sometimes it requires that I have to spend all day on a work site, or for the most part, when I am in the field, I can be done pretty much, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. So when you have time to be able to, or those days when you can basically plan out when you'll be home, let's say you're going to be home at 2 o'clock, right? So ahead of time, maybe you'll know, okay, I want to set aside maybe a block that night between 4 and 7. I'm going to dial or run appointments. Typically, between 4 and 7 is a great time for appointments. Or if you don't have appointments, it's a great time to call because people are getting off work, right? Early morning is also a good time to call, between 9 and 12, because people do pick up the phone. I know it sounds crazy. They're at work, they pick up the phone. So those are kind of the key times during the week. Don't sleep on Saturdays. I know it sounds weird, but after around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, people are home. They pick up, and I booked a lot of appointments in the last couple of weeks on Saturdays between 2 and 6. So if you are able to do Saturdays, definitely do Saturdays. Saturday morning, I think Zach, you're pretty good with Saturday morning, right? Amber, you guys are pretty good. Yeah, because I don't usually do mornings, but I do afternoon and evenings. It works for me for some reason. I'll let you guys chime in if there's any other times. But what I'm trying to get at is those are kind of like those key times. Now you just look at your schedule, you take a step back and you say, okay, where can I block this off where I'm not distracted by kids or husband, animals? I don't care what it is. You're going to get to a room by yourself. You're going to be able to focus in on the leads that you have and make those calls and those dials, or you're running those appointments. You have us to help you prepare for each one of those appointments. But really, just sitting down with your mentor would probably be the best next step. I don't know, who's your upline?
I think it's in Amber or David.
Yeah. So Amber is awesome with schedules. Sit down with her. We will come up with some good mock schedule for you. Okay. And then we'll kind of go from there. And then next couple of weeks, we'll just kind of monitor along. And before you know it, you'll be ready to go. I'll tell you, I had that big week partly because Joel, and I know I don't want to make him blush, but he got on me about my schedule. And he said, dude, you're not putting in all the hours you need to be putting in for dialing. You're saying 4 hours a day of dialing. You're not really doing that, and you're not putting in all the hours you need for making appointments. And he really took time with me and kind of revamped my schedule with me. And I'll tell you, what was it, Joel? Was it not the 2 weeks later? That's when I had the big week. Yeah, there you go.
It's game changing when you get very intentional about your schedule. And on that, I'll actually add to any part timers out there, and I came into this business full time, not even by choice. My previous job fired me, and that's how I ended up here. But if I were part time and I had another full time job, yeah, there's key times to call. But quite frankly, any time is a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had 40 hours right now that I were spending at another job, with being a dad of 2, with balancing, family, everything, I'm still doing 20 to 40 hours on my free time. I'm talking about I get off work at 5, bet I'm going to work from 6 to 9 in the East Coast, and then I'm going to work from 9 to 11 Central or West Coast. And I promise y'all that as a part-timer, I'm still going to outwork somebody that's full-time that day. It's the intentionality behind it. And I want you to be mindful. You don't have to do that forever, guys. Like any level of effort like that, quite frankly, if y'all want to fire your boss, if you want to get out of there and do this full time, tell me that's not worth an extra 20 hours. Tell me that's not worth 1 or 2 less hours of sleep daily. But 3 months from now, you're just doing this full time and you're living an amazing schedule.
That's well said. I just want to piggyback off of that, Joel. I put in the chat. It's about integrity. It's another here it is again, and execution, right? If you say you're going to dial, Lisa, let's say 4 to 7, you dial 4 to 7, you're going to get the results. If you don't dial, you won't get it, right? So it's about intentionality. When you set your schedule, when you're going to dial, and when you have that time each week, it may be different from anyone else, right? But the fact of the matter is, did you really do it? Did you really do what you said you're going to do? Okay. Some people say, I'm going to dial this week, and they never even picked up the phone. Or did you really dial during that time when you said you dialed? And the results will show you if you did it. Okay. So there really isn't a special time, like Joel said, to say, I'm just kind of telling you just industry wise, those are kind of the key times when people are off work.
Optimal times are a thing for sure.
Yeah, the optimal times. Yeah, very well said. But at the same time, it's really about making sure you do what you say. So when I had the big week, I had 22 appointments, right? I had 15 sits. So I had to put in the work to get the 22 appointments. So that was some days I didn't feel like dialing, and I dialed until 8 or dialed until 8:30, whatever I had to do. Got up early in the morning, and oh wait, I missed my dial time from last night, so I made sure that I made it up for the next day. You see, I had to be consistent. And then there's all these people that maybe didn't show or said no. There was a lot of no's up until then, right? But I kept going. And so what happens is you start getting a lot more yeses. You start getting a lot more people because you've done the activity. But the hardest thing to tell a new agent is just do the activity, and just basically don't lie to yourself. If you're going to do it, do it. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. We went a little deep on that part-time one.
So I had a question.
Go for it.
Is there anyone here who has had any success when it comes to outreach using another form other than phone or text? Right. So obviously we're going to be on like calling people, right? And then maybe leaving voicemails and texting. But I wonder if there's anyone who's been like creative enough to take it to another level. Maybe show up in person, knock on their door, and be like, "Hey, I see here you recently expressed desire in receiving mortgage protection. I'm here. Hook you up with that. You got a second to chat?" Or even sending like a box of chocolate or something, and then getting like a warm response from that. Anybody? Anybody? And if so, would you care to
I just put Shane in the spotlight because he's definitely the gutsiest out of all of us, and will show up at somebody's doorstep.
Bro. I'd be right there with you, man.
Talk a little bit about that, Shane.
Yeah, so this is the benefit of looking at local leads, right? A lot of what I've been able to purchase have been, here in my own county. And I look for that because what if, right? What if I need to go help them out? And I've been in that situation a couple times where, I couldn't quite get them to commit to writing the policy over the internet through Zoom. But when I said, well, what if, Stephen, what if I came down and I actually took a look at what we really needed and we went through this together? Oh, great. And, that turned into an application. Another guy, we were on our third scheduled appointment and he no-showed me again, but he was only like 4 minutes away. I was like, I might go just pop in and be like, oh, I thought we were doing this one in person. I went over, but unfortunately the guy wasn't around. So have I tried it? Yeah. However, even if you go to the old school days of selling life insurance, it was still purchasing your leads. They were still booking for in-home appointments, but then they were scheduling their drive. So do you necessarily want to show up unannounced? Can give it a shot. There's definitely door knocking in this industry, like that's a factor. But it's going to be a little bit of a different animal, right? I will
Yeah.
say one of the benefits, I come from a digital marketing background. Stephen, I know
Nice.
you had some content creator experience as well.
Yeah.
My wife and I also, right? So am I doing some things to build some sales funnels and stuff that educates on mortgage protection with the intent to bring people into my calendar without having to make the calls? Yeah, I am. We'll see how it
So
all
part
works.
one, let's talk because
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Uh,
Dude, like, so my belief is um, mortgage protection. Let's actually go one step higher. Insurance is one of those industries that has a huge white space in terms of renovation because it doesn't actually have, let's call it a public relations channel with the market at hand. You can think of like sports, for example, right? Like everybody knows what soccer looks like, or football for that matter, or even creating honey, which is kind of a weird example. But there's like ample content videos on TikTok that have gone to like put that out into the ethos or the ether so that people have been exposed to it. But when it comes to insurance, selling life insurance, mortgage protection, that sort of thing, even loans, the loan industry, these are like that's an issue I'm actually going to be actively doing content on. There's not a lot of lore on it. And so most people's exposure to this market is just getting a cold call from someone who may or may not have been trained. And so uh, gives them consequently like this really bad taste in their mouth of being maybe really pushy and so forth. And so I approach it from an education standpoint. Like I really value my audience, and I actually don't ever sell. Like I'm a software engineer, but I don't even sell my services because I actually feel like people just gravitate towards sending you the energetic wealth that you need to manifest what you want when you're just like continuously just talking about what you know in a way that's like no pressure and just educational, right?
Yeah.
And I
Well, and I
find that
think,
that appeals
yeah, I
even
think part of
basically
what you're
when you're
talking
serious
about,
about what you're doing.
right? Well, and there certainly is, and what I would say, Stephen, is learn both, right? Go educate in the space because you will certainly attract people who are interested to the things that we talk about. We talk a lot about wealth building, debt-free life. There's a lot of, you're right, there's space there to educate and teach people. That's really my goal. But also all of the leads that are in the marketplace, they did request that information. They just get blown up by calls every day. So it's learning how to break through it, remind them that they requested this information and we're the person for you. But learn the system because that's what you'll plug most people into. But then definitely go educate out on social media and build yourself a funnel to bring people in.
Yeah, and
Okay.
real fast on that, Stephen. There's just so much in HQ. Go dig in there, look at the recall recordings. They're going to tell you all of that. The role
Like
play,
you said that again, HCU.
HQ, your
Okay.
home base.
Please
So,
share a link. Asking for myself.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, everybody go check it out there. There's so much information. Don't get lost in the sauce. Remember, get out in the field. Just have those conversations and making sure that you're working with your uplines to overcome any obstacles you're having this week. So next week we're not running into them. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. I really appreciate it, and also love seeing all of your beautiful faces. We're gonna try to do this every week. So tell your friends, tell your family members. We'll come.
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can
let's
come
go
hang out.
start this month off right, y'all.
Yeah, and also sign up for conference, guys. We've got all the information, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Yeah.
Please.